everyone, my name's Andrew, and this is Canadian Starships. Well, welcome back to another update on the Enterprise E project. This is update number 26, and it will be the final update in this series. This has been a project long in the making. It has been well over 2 years since I started making this project, and there is a very good reason why it's taken so long. This started out as a personal project to get back into modeling, and it has kind of just taken on a life of its own. It's turned into a client project, and it's gone far beyond what I first set out to do. So, you would have seen the detail decals going on the bottom of the hull in the last update. Well, all the decals are on. All the little tiny decals that I created for the tiniest details are on. I'm going to show you a quick video tour of that in a moment, but it is going to be the end. Basically, most of the work on the ship is done. Now, I've got the photo etch parts to put on the impulse grills, the warp chiller grills, and the deflector dish. I then have to hook everything up to the electronics board and make sure it all works. Oh, that's the scariest part for me, is making sure that all the LEDs work. And then it goes on the base, and we are done. I'm going to be finished by the end of this week. It is just blowing my mind that this project is finishing. Plus, I finally got the next project on the bench into the shop. The mail arrived. Some of you may have seen it on Facebook. I will show that to you here in a little bit. So let's get right at it.
But before we get started, why not take a moment and click the subscribe button? And while you're here, click on that notification bell so you don't miss a single video.
So I thought I would give you a video overview of all of the upper decals that have gone down. So all of the kit decals are on, but there's a whole bunch of extra decals that I have printed and placed on. Those red pinstripes going down the spine weren't present in the kit decals. I mean, I'm really surprised that a model kit producer would miss those. Those black triangles on the ends of the warp nacelles right by the bizarre collectors, they're also not there. I mean, those are some pretty obvious details. There's also another detail that's absolutely missing from the decal sheet, and it is that Enterprise right under the shuttle bay doors there. That big Enterprise, well, it's not big, it's small, but that big name, Enterprise, is not in the kit decals. So if you really need to get some sort of aftermarket decal set or make your own if you want it to look right. Now, I understand that they didn't add all of these tiny little detailed decals that you see here behind the bridge, all of those things. I get that. And I'm quite capable of making those myself. But there are some pretty significant decals that are just missing. But see all these little tiny decals that are just here, there, and everywhere? I just think that those kind of make the kit. It just adds that little bit of extra detail. And it just brings a little bit of life to the project. Just a little bit of life. All right, I'm working on the electronics hookups for the project. So, a few things going on here. First of all, I have taken all the multiple feeds that come out of the ship because there isn't enough room inside the ship to consolidate all these feeds. I tried to consolidate as many of the lines as I could inside, but it was just impossible to do it completely. So they've all been consolidated down, so there's only one line per item that needs to hook up to the control board. Now let's take a look at the base. I have started the work on the base, and what I've done is I've installed the jack for the wall plug, because this is not going to run on a battery, it's going to run on a wall plug, and the switch. It's currently in the off position. Press up to turn it on because the base is upside down right now. Inside, it's been wired up. The switch is going on the positive, the negative is coming straight off of the jack, and this is going to be hooked up to the board, and actually there's going to be a couple feeds that need to come off of these wires rather than going onto the board. The board is going to be attached to the base plate. This flips and goes on top here and gets secured in by these 3 anchor points. The control board is going to be connected to the bottom plate of the base, roughly in the location that it is here. It's going to be raised up slightly, so it's got some airflow possibility. And so there's the positive and negative feed here, and that's going to be as close as I can get it to these lines. So I've got lots of extra feed on here right now just to give myself lots of room to play with. These have been securely epoxied into place, and they are fully curing right now so that they will not move, especially the jack. When you're plugging it and unplugging it, you do not want this jack to move. So that has been securely epoxied into place. I also have a post that's going to be going into here. It has been painted black at the request of the client, and it's curing right now. So I'm not going to be able to hook up any of the wiring from the ship to the control board until that post is done, because it needs, all the wiring has to go through the post, it needs to go into the stand, and then it all needs to be connected together. I'm gonna have enough, I've got loads of space in here for extra wires, so I've got lots of extra length on the wires, so I'm not going to be clumsily trying to get everything connected in a tight space. I should have lots of space to work with to get everything connected. So that's what I'm working on, and I've tested the board. Everything is working. I've tested it with LEDs. The one thing that I was really concerned about was the Bizarre collectors, and they are resisted on the board. I tested it with the same LEDs as what I have in the ship. Everything seems to be working well, and everything seems to be good to go. So I'm going to work on getting this all connected after the post has fully cured. It's got the black paint on it. I'm also going to give it a matte clear coat just to seal it all in so that no paint has a chance to rub off of the post as it's being handled. So since that last video clip, I had a bit of time undisturbed where I could put my head down and get a bunch of work done. And then it got really late, and I just thought, oh, I am so close to completing this thing that I should just keep going. And well, the astute among you may have noticed, behind me here is a completed Enterprise E project. It is all done, and I mean done. Completely. It's on the stand. The control board is hooked up. The chiller grills are on. Everything works. Now, when I first hooked everything up and turned on the power, I almost had a mild heart attack. The flashers weren't working and the Bizarre collectors weren't working, and I thought something went horribly wrong. I had tested the board before I installed it and nothing was working right. So I pulled the board out, did a little bit of experimenting, sussed out the problem, and added a bit of a jumper cable on from one port to another on the board, and everything seemed to work out. Even the Bizarre collectors started working when I put a jump cable between 2 ports on the flasher circuit. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't understand these things. But it works. Everything's working. I'm thrilled. I am excited. I am so happy to know that this is done. And when our lockdown in Ontario is done, my client's going to be able to come and pick it up and have his finished project. Now, I'm going to show you a bunch of pictures and some video of the finished project. Now, at the beginning of the project update, I did promise that I would show you what is coming up on the bench next as the next commission build project. I'm going to take 2 weeks off and then I'm going to get right into this project. Let me show you what it is. Parts are on the bench just behind me. Let me grab the saucer. Oh, this might be hard to see on camera because it's clear. If I just angle the light correctly, you might be able to tell what that is. This is the Don Shoko 1000 scale Enterprise D project. It is a combination fiberglass resin kit, and it is fairly accurate, really nicely detailed, and it is going to be a project. It is going to take a year to do this project. This is 1000 scale. Let me just grab a 1400 scale saucer top. That's the kit that's generally available. It originally came out in a solid. It's been released in clear as well. I've got it on the table right here. This is an old copy of the 1400 scale that's readily available. This is the 1000 scale. That's the difference in size. This thing is going to be 2 feet long, and it is going to be quite the project. Now, this is going to take about a year, and when it's all done, it is going to Belgium, which is kind of exciting. So look for a update, a beginning update, a starting update on this in the next month or so. I am really looking forward to doing this. But that's going to wrap it up, not just for this update, but for this project. I hope that you have enjoyed the Enterprise E project. I have really enjoyed doing it. I've really enjoyed pushing myself on this project and doing things I haven't done before, and really doing things that other people haven't done before. I have not seen a fully painted, detailed Enterprise E to this level of accuracy to the studio model. It was a lot of work, and there were times when I thought it just would not happen. But it happened. I pushed through, and I took some risks, and it paid off. I am so thrilled. And I hope that if you are building the Enterprise E project, you might just consider scrapping those decals and going with a roll of 3M blue tape, a straight edge, a sharp number 11 blade, and some time and patience, and paint all the detail on this model. I think it looks so much better than the decals for all of those Aztecs. You know, Wonderfest is coming up, and I really wish I could be there. I wish I could take the project there to show everyone who's there in person, because as much as you can see on camera and in pictures, really you need to see it in person. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19 and the travel restrictions and the border being closed between the US and Canada, that's just not going to happen this time around. And if you are going, I hope you have a great time. Do it safely. And but you know what? Wonderfest 2022, I'm sure I'll have a project to bring. So I'm looking forward to that. I was hoping to go last year, couldn't do it. I was hoping to go this year, can't do it. Hopefully the world will be in some sort of state where we can do it in 2022. So that's it. That's it. The project is over. It's done. This is the last project update. I will see you in the next project, the 1000 scale Enterprise D project. And I have a challenge. I want to reach 1K subscribers for the 1K Enterprise project. So if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, why not do that today? You'll make me very happy if you do. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you hit that like button. But for now, my name is Andrew. This is Canadian Starships. Have a great day, everyone.